And we welcome you to This is Overtime on Ottawa Sports Now, OSN. Lever Sage, Tanner Ryle, after a 4-3 Carolina Hurricanes victory over an Ottawa Senators team that gave it a lot tonight, but unable to come up with a point in a critical game. And we'll be taking your comments in the chat box and going over this one in depth. Tanner, always good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, good to see you as well. Not too bad. Pretty good hockey game tonight up until the end there. So can't complain.
Yeah, I would agree. Look, this is a tough one because I think the Ottawa Senators played pretty well tonight and haven't allowed themselves a chance to have games like this where you play well and you don't come out with any points. And it's okay because you've played well for the rest of the season. This would be a game that if Ottawa scored with like 3 minutes to go, Carolina would go, maybe Ottawa was a better team tonight. We can afford a loss. It's fine. But the Senators can't do that. And a couple of critical mistakes end up costing them the hockey game in a game that they played fairly well. So let's start with some of the positives. From your standpoint, what were the positives?
Every time Tim Stützle touched the puck, he was buzzing tonight. Another standout for me would have been Amadio. I think he was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, just like the defensive structure that they still played with, pushing for offense and just holding it up against, I think they controlled most of this game against a top-tier team in the NHL.
Yeah.
I mean, they mentioned it on the broadcast, but holding the Carolina Hurricanes to only 18 shots on goal is a pretty big deal.
They averaged 32 a game.
Yeah.
They average 32. Against bad teams, they probably have more, right?
Yeah.
So kind of puts it in context that Carolina only had 18 shots tonight. I think one of my absolute positives is when this team got down 3-1 after playing well, that they didn't quit, that they didn't look like, okay, you know what, it's their second half, it's back-to-back. We were in this thing, but maybe we're not. Nope, they kept going. Power play goal at the end of the second, power play goal 5 minutes into the third, and they have themselves a tie game. So I think that's a real positive. And as you mentioned, Tim Stützle was incredible tonight. Just so dangerous every time he was on the ice. Unfortunately, ends up a -3 on the night. But he had 6 shot attempts with 3 hitting the goal. He actually took 6 draws tonight. Of course, had the goal on the power play. And that's the thing about Bussy, the goaltender. Man, he was, to say unorthodox, it reminded me of like goaltenders in the past that don't really have a lot of structure, but they do something to find a way to stop the puck.
Yeah, and I mean, whatever he's doing there, it's working. You saw some of the numbers they were throwing up on the broadcast.
Yeah.
And sure, you're behind the Carolina Hurricanes, one of the best defensively structured teams in the NHL, but this was a guy that was on waivers at the start of the season. I don't think Carolina expected him to be the answer.
No, they probably didn't. But at the same time, I always take it with a grain of salt when you're playing with the Carolina Hurricanes. I know his record's really good. I understand. But that team has the puck so much. They don't just play with good defensive structure. They have the puck all the time. And I thought it was interesting when they flashed up the sign of James Reimer and all the teams that he has played with and all the different, like the number of games he's played with every franchise. And then right at the bottom, there was a little graphic there. Best goals against, 2.62 of any team with Carolina. Yeah, no crap. Right? Because every goalie that goes in and plays there plays better because they have the puck all the time. And they just don't.
It's how they've been a playoff contending team with Freddie Anderson as their main starting goalie over the last number of years.
Exactly. Well, so I think a lot of positives tonight. They looked engaged. They looked like they were right with or even better than the Carolina Hurricanes through not only the first period again, but through most of this game, they were the better team. And man, I was watching the team in the first period going, they are engaged. They are better than Carolina here in this first period. I'm surprised that they're able to kind of carry it forward. So this team's got to feel good about themselves, but it's a really difficult night to not get a point because of, number one, how well they played. Number two, just a couple of critical mistakes that we'll get to. And then number three, and maybe the most important one, remember we said it was fun to watch the out-of-town scoreboard? I don't think it's going to be very fun tonight. So already the Flyers have 2 points. They've beat Washington. Columbus shut out New Jersey, so they have 2 points. The Penguins are up 4-3 on the Islanders. Late 8 minutes to go in the third. The Sabres and the Lightning are tied at 2. The Maple Leafs have a lead in Edmonton. Like every team that's ahead of Ottawa is getting points tonight, which is going to make it really, really difficult.
It's a couple of big ones tomorrow night too. Just seeing that on the right-hand side of my screen. Boston and Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one. So who thought it was a good idea to start Reimer?
I wonder.
Right. That was you, Ethan. You're bringing it to attention before we can bring it, which I shouldn't have done. I should have just brought it up. So James Reimer is not a National Hockey League goalie right now.
No.
Like he's a backup when, like, in the situation that Ottawa called him in when they had Marilyn in, and like he's a third guy, emergency guy. He wasn't even playing in the league before they got him. It's hindsight, but we have it on tape. I would have liked to have seen Linus Ullmark in this game. You would have too.
Oh,
and I honestly feel that even if Ullmark wasn't as good as he was last night or as good as he was against New Jersey, that he would have given them a better chance to win. And with the way they played, I think they would have won. I really do.
I think there's at least 2 of those goals that Reimer probably wants back. And I mean, you're looking at a .778 save percentage. That's not good enough.
Yeah, like you play in Carolina, your team outshoots them. How many shots does Ottawa have? Like 30? Did they have
25 on goal to Carolina's 18.
Right. So they had 25, but you only give up 18 shots to that team and you lose 4-3 with a couple of goals that he should have stopped. 100%.
Especially that last one. I mean, that's not Seth Jarvis, who played awesome tonight. I'll give him some credit where it's due. It's Jordan Staal.
Yeah, so yes, I would have liked to have seen that puck stopped. I would have liked to have seen, quite frankly, most of them stopped tonight. The Seth Jarvis one coming in from the wing, just ridiculous how that goal goes in. Like,
oh yeah, his second one, yeah, that one was pretty bad.
Like he's driving to, he's got no angle.
I think he had one hand on the stick.
Right. Anyway, that goal cannot go in. And especially you've just given one up. You're down 2-1. It's in Carolina. Make a save. But again, it's like as soon as I start talking about it, I want to talk about other things. As soon as I start talking about this line change, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stop. Like, I just don't get it. It does not make sense to me how in the National Hockey League, game after game after game, they have a bad line change and it ends up costing them a hockey game. I don't understand it. And Tanner, usually if that happens, and I know you know this and people listening know this, usually when that happens, it's on the long change. It's in the second period, or like it's in overtime on the long change when it's 3-on-3. And not that that's an excuse, but it is more difficult. Every one of these have been on the short change. You're in your own end. That's where the bench is. And you still let people behind you time after time after time. I just don't get it. Oh, it makes me so angry because they played really well.
And I'm sure Travis Green is probably saying a lot of those same things in the room right now.
Yeah, because it's not coaching. Because the first time it happened in January, or I'm sure it happened before that, but it's been a string of games since the month of January that this has happened. And I'm sure the first time it happened in January, they're like, yeah, you just can't do this. Like, we're going to go over some things so that this doesn't happen again. And then it happens again. And then it happens again. Like, the coaches aren't playing. It's the players. Like, I just don't even get why you're going off as the right defenseman when you don't see the puck go into the other team's end. Why are you going off? And I want to make sure that it's right. I tried to watch it a couple times. They didn't have great angles. Spence was one of them, for sure. And it sucks, too, because it was Sanderson and Zub, right, that jumped on.
Yeah, and then Zub gets the dash for
and they get the dash when it's not their fault.
Because I was looking at the stats tonight. I'm like, Zub -3. Whoa.
Yeah, and that's where it lies, right? Like,
right.
That's where it just lies when, like, it's a horrible change by Spence, and I'll get the other. I'll watch it again. But again, it's a tie game. There's 5 minutes to go, and your bottom pair makes a bad change. And again, there is some fault to the winger that didn't get the puck down deep and got beat off the boards and just lost the puck on the side boards near the Carolina blue line. There's some fault there for sure. But it's a rule. You don't go off the ice unless you see the puck go into the other team's zone when you're the far defenseman changing in that spot. And they've just done it again and again and again. It's crazy. And the reason I'm fired up about it tonight is because they deserve to win the hockey game. They deserved for us to be sitting here talking about a 5-game win streak going into Philadelphia.
At the very least, an overtime loss.
Right. But there was a couple, like even in the first period, it was Cousins that hit the post when he had a wide open net. And then I don't know how Zetterlund missed.
Yeah.
On the kind of the 3-way passing play that Stützle made an unbelievable pass back across. And then Zetterlund shot it right back into the Bussy, who was only covering half the net. They had lots of glorious chances to score tonight and got a couple of bad bounces to not score.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't think Bussy was great tonight. He made some like highlight reel saves, a couple of which he was out of position. So on the shot with about 47 seconds to go, where Bussy came across, did he trip on Tim Stützle? Did he fall down? If that puck goes in, is it a goal?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been challenged maybe, but
the
replay that they showed, like Stützle's stick didn't touch him. I think he just stumbled.
Man, I think it might have been called back.
Really?
Yeah.
It didn't look like he was in the paint, at least the replay I saw.
Yeah, he was very close. But so in that case, I mean, who knows? It's National Hockey League. It's like every video review for itself. You don't know from video to review to review, but I don't know. It kind of looked like he grazed Stützle and he did trip. Ethan says he fell down. It would have been a goal. They showed all angles. I didn't see any contact in the paint, but you did see contact. And to get in the way of a goalie, I'm telling you, they give the goalies the benefit of the doubt most of the time. Zagibbon is in. Especially frustrating seeing 4 Senators all along the bench, seeing the play develop for the stall goal. Yeah, that's when you make a bad change. That's where everybody is. They're at the bench watching. And look, Ottawa got a break last night in Pittsburgh. Or the exact same thing happened with Penguins. Bad change, 2-0. Well, it was a 1-0, and then nobody covered Stützle, and he got there and he scored. But this has got to be a gut wrench here to Ottawa fans.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan says the positive I'm taking away from the games, Ottawa didn't just look good tonight. They were competitive. The fact that they look good in the second game of back-to-back instills confidence. Yeah, I would agree. I think this was a real tough game. I know Ethan on the group text, let's see Tanner if he's got the cojones to do it here, but said that he really wasn't expecting anything.
Mm-hmm.
That if you're a Sens fan and you weren't expecting anything, did you watch the game tonight? Because if you watched the game, you should have been expecting something.
I gave my thoughts in the chat on that already.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of copium, but that's okay.
Yeah, I would agree. But I think that's why we sit here and we watch the games, and it's why fans, like when you say this, and Ethan says, I wasn't expecting 2 points going into the game. Well, I can tell you who was, the players. And when they played as well as they did and couldn't score, and a couple of bad goals go in, and then a bad line change, it doesn't matter that at the beginning you thought, oh, it's a tough one, back to back, and it's in Carolina. No, you need points. You absolutely have to have points because, and that's where you don't get the benefit of the doubt. And I agreed with you, Tanner, that if you had played well enough at the beginning of the year, fine. But you haven't. And you've put yourself in this spot. And whether you were expecting points, Ethan, or Sens fans were expecting points or not expecting them tonight, they played well enough to earn them, and they didn't get them, and they needed them. All right, Tanner, let's see your football here. Z Gibbon says you play to win the game. Who said that?
I have no idea.
Oh, see, Zach? It's not a football show, so I'm going to give him some grace here. But it's a very famous quote from Herm Edwards, who the media was...
Never heard of him.
Herm Edwards was an NFL coach. He was coach of the New York Jets, where he famously was being questioned by some members of the media and like about bonehead decisions. Like, rightly so, he made idiotic decisions. And the way that he explained it was like Zach does on This Is Wrestling. You play to win the game. You play to win the game. And he kept saying it. And it's like, yeah, you all do, Herm, but you made bad decisions to try to win the game.
It's a television show, bro.
Bro. All right, Ethan says, it said since the beginning we needed 6 of 8. It needed to be New Jersey, Philly, and Pittsburgh. Okay. I agreed. I thought that was the minimum. And if they get that, then they're not going to be out of it. But you have to understand right now, Ethan, it's great that you wanted 6 of 8 points and you think that that's okay. But you start to look at the standings and you look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and right now the Buffalo Sabres, with 25 seconds to go, are beating the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-2. Pittsburgh and the Islanders is 4-4 with 4 minutes to go. The Maple Leafs have a 2-1 lead. Philly got points. Columbus got points. Everyone's getting points tonight. You're not getting points.
Yeah, Sens are 7 points back of the Boston Bruins. No games in hand. None of that.
Yeah, but look, like the Leafs are up right now. They could vault ahead of Ottawa. Washington got points tonight. They're ahead of Ottawa now with 63. How about Columbus? The Columbus Blue Jackets, they win again. They have 63, but the important place to look in the standings there is they're 2 points behind the New York Islanders right now with a game in hand for third place in the Metro.
That's crazy. Because if Columbus passes them, that knocks the Islanders all the way from third in the division to out of the playoffs.
Right. Costly one, or a big one for the Islanders right now at home to Pittsburgh, who you could say, oh, well, they're trying to catch Pittsburgh because they're only 2 points back of the Penguins for second in the Metro. But as you said, they're dangerously close to falling out of the playoffs right now.
The Metro's crazy right now. And he got Washington. They've also got 63. Sure, they've played a couple more games.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they've got a
that's
good
it.
goal differential.
Depending on how this Islander Penguin game ends up, and they're tied right now late, you're going to have teams within, you have 4 teams within 4 points from second in the division to teams out of the playoffs. Meanwhile, Ottawa is trying to catch them all. And Philly won. So they're going to feel much better about themselves heading into that game against Ottawa. Their last game as well. They've been at home, and I mentioned it. I'm not trying to, they played well in Carolina tonight on a back-to-back, but it'd be Ottawa's 4th game in 6 days in 4 different cities. Meanwhile, since Saturday, the same time that Ottawa started that 4 games in 6 days in 4 cities trip, they've been at home all weekend. They lost Saturday at home at 12:30. So they get off the ice at 3 or 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. They played tonight at home, and then they play Ottawa at home on Thursday. And they're only 1 point back of Ottawa in the standings. So with the game in hand. So you don't think Philly's going to be pumped up to win on Thursday? Of course they are. It's just everyone. Sorry?
Just curious, trying to look at Michkov's time on ice because there's a lot of drama around him, I think, in the last 24 hours or so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that. Tampa scored very late.
Oh.
Trying to see when they scored.
Wow, he played 15:54.
Oh, okay.
But Christian Dvorak played 20:38.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about Darren Radish?
Oh, what a year he's having.
17th goal on the year from Nikita Kucherov, by the way, his 60th assist. 60. Like it's February 3rd. He's got 60 assists. Anyway, he scored with 26 seconds to go with the goal he pulled to tie that game at 3 and head to overtime.
Another one I got to mention, Matthew Schaefer. 16th goal tonight.
Wow.
On the season. If he scores 20, he'll be the first 18-year-old defenseman to ever do that in the NHL.
Yeah, that's
pretty good. I'm starting to see that G word get tossed around. I know it's probably a little early, but I don't know.
G word, what's that?
Generational.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's early, but I mean, he's 18, he's playing in the National Hockey League, and he's playing on a playoff team right now.
As the number 1 defenseman.
As the number 1 defenseman, could get 20 goals.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Calder race is over. You can say what you want about Demidov or Seneca, but
yeah,
I do not give it to Schaefer. Like,
no,
I'm sorry, Habs fans.
Yeah, it's over. So, lots of points being given out tonight. And Ottawa didn't get any. Ethan says Ottawa will be fired up to go into Philadelphia. They need to come away with 2 regulation points, go play a suffocating game against Philadelphia, end on a high. So that is one of the big positives is defensively, this team looks much better.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give up a lot. And when they don't get in their own way and their goalie could make a save, they're a pretty good hockey team right now.
Yeah, it feels like their practice before Philadelphia should just be like 20 minutes of doing line changes.
Yeah.
And maybe Reimer facing some shots on the other end, high glove. But yeah, I mean, surely Allmark's getting that game, so it won't matter.
And I think depending on how that game goes and how it goes in, I wonder how many games James Reimer is going to get for the rest of this year. Like, I wonder.
Yeah, it's probably only going to be back-to-backs, and if they're like well and truly out of it. But surely you got to ride Allmark. But yeah, interesting to see tomorrow. That Boston Florida game is going to be a big one to watch, and then you got the roster freeze as well. Do you see a move?
See, that's mean, Ethan. Forget a beach ball. Glove hand couldn't stop a planet.
And his numbers are still better than Marilinen's.
The Jordan Staal shot was a good shot.
Yeah, it was bar down.
Like,
it's definitely more the Jarvis one that
I agree.
He had the rush with the one hand on the stick. That was just terrible.
I didn't like his first goal either, but
no.
But the second Jarvis goal, the third goal of the game, it just has to be stopped at that point. Like, Jarvis had really nothing else to do with that puck, and he still couldn't stop it.
Well, maybe he's playing a little extra pissed off that he wasn't picked for Team Canada today.
Yeah, Sam Bennett going to make his way.
Yep, in place of Anthony Cirelli. Do
you think that's a good choice?
Oh, yeah. I think, honestly, I would have put Bennett on the team over Cirelli in the first place.
Right.
Just if you think he just won the Conn Smythe. He had the big tying goal last year in the Four Nations in the final.
Yeah.
I don't know how he wasn't on the team in the first place, to be honest, but yeah, I think he's the right choice. He's injured right now, though, which is interesting.
Well, they must know because they have said that he's going. So
for sure. And then I think, if there is somebody else, maybe that's when you look at like a Seth Jarvis or a Connor Bedard.
It's amazing when you watch Seth Jarvis, how good of a player he is compared to kind of what you either think he was or he's a really good player.
Mm-hmm. That same draft as Stützle and Sanderson.
Eden says the first goal could have been called for goalie interference. I still question why it wasn't challenged by Green. Well, do you think that they didn't think of it, or do you think they watched a video and said that it wasn't?
I don't think it was goalie interference. I'm not surprised Green didn't challenge it.
Honestly, Ethan. You are?
I didn't think they would challenge it. It looked to me like the puck was already going in and it didn't matter what contact was made there. Like, he had Reimer beat.
Yeah. And then the other part of that was, and you don't see it that often, as it was pointed out to me, except in the playoffs against the Leafs, but Claude Giroux just let the guy go right by him. Like, he lost the draw, and then the player goes right by him and ends up kind of getting it to the front of the net, and then it goes in, and Giroux is kind of standing around doing nothing. It's like, yeah, that's not great. Didn't love that. Jake Sanderson over 23 minutes tonight.
Feels like they balanced the lines out a lot tonight, just by looking at like the time on ice.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense on the back-to-back, I guess, but yeah. Notice that throughout. A couple guys are really snake bitten as well, I think. Like Drake Batherson, Shane Pinto.
Speaking of Shane Pinto, very nice article up by one Chris Stevenson. This is OSN.com. Ottawa Ottawa Sports Now. Shane the Pain. Pinto making life miserable for opponents, drawing Selke love. And Chris writes a little bit about the history, but all the top centers that he shut down, including Jack Eichel, Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Nico Hischier. And I don't think he's wrong. It's a very good read. And he kind of has a couple of tidbits at the end. Conversation with Brady Tkachuk about taking liberties. And then the last line. You must have loved this one, Tanner and Ethan. The Senators finishing out of the playoffs and winning the draft lottery in a season in which they don't have their first pick would be the most Senators thing ever.
He's not wrong.
But a very good read from Chris Stevenson.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
And I can tell you, there's some hard work being done by yourself and Ethan. The OSN website. This is OSN.com. Starting to look pretty good. You can see the improvements each and every day. And thank you for all of your efforts. We're going to continue to make it better here. All right, back to the scoreboard. Couple of finals in overtime. Oh, tough one for Buffalo, leading that game in regulation with 26 seconds to go. And Jake Gensel scores his 25th of the year in overtime with just 15 seconds before it was going to go to a shootout. And Tampa gets a 4-3 victory of the Buffalo Sabres. And Anthony Mantha. No, sorry, Bo Horvat scores in overtime. And the New York Islanders get a very much needed 2 points and beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 5-4. In overtime, Pittsburgh gets a point. But same thing, the Islanders tied that game with about 4.5 minutes to go and then won it in OT. So a couple of big victories there. Philly beat Washington 4-2. Columbus shut out New Jersey 3-0. And the Leafs still late in the second period have a 2-1 lead over the Edmonton Oilers. So unfortunately for the Ottawa Senators, there's just teams around them getting points after points after points. Z Gibbon says it's a great read from CJ. It is a good read.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, we're getting some good writers on this site. Chris Stevenson and Duke Ellingson, Tanner Ryle.
Even heard some rumors that Lever Sage might put some words out there sooner or later too.
Yeah, it's true. Well, if people are coming up with Shane the Pain.
Yeah.
Pinto making life miserable for opponents and drawing Selke love. I actually, so I came up with that headline and I flipped it to CJ. I'm like, any thoughts on a headline for your article? Because this is all I got. He's like, that's amazing. I'm like, yeah, you're humoring me. Again, it's text. I'm like, can you give me a headline, please? He's like, no, go with it. I'm like, okay. Didn't put a lot of thought into it, to be honest with you. Feels a little wrestling-y, though, eh? Shane the Pain?
Maybe a little bit, but I mean, with you, I'm not surprised.
No, you shouldn't be.
I was biting my tongue there when you said I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I was going to say, when do you ever?
Well, you should say these things. Don't say them afterwards. Like, come at me.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So come at me. All I'll tell everybody is, listen, I'm fair game. I'm the guy you should be coming after the most, but I will come back at you. So be prepared.
Oh, I am. By the way, the pink hat is no longer undefeated.
So I did wear it during the game Ethan. And I'm like, should I just not wear it for the post-game show because they lost? But I wanted to show you that I was wearing it all night long because even if I didn't believe in the pink hat, you, Ethan, believed in the pink hat. So I was there for you. I was absolutely. What's that?
Z Gibbon saying, "Here comes the shame."
Oh, so you and I are doing it at the same time, and we're taking it off of the screen. Here comes the Shane. Would have been another good one. Yeah. Here comes the money.
I was thinking of SmackDown. Here comes the pain. The old game.
Oh, okay.
I guess they used to say that with Brock as well.
Yep.
Before
By the way, Zach,
of...
if you're still listening, Zach, we're gonna have to record episode 3 of WWE Unreal. I've just watched it and I'm just as mad as I was in episode 2. So feel like I have to get that one. I hope it's a good series, but man, there are holes in it. There are big holes. Ethan, though, counting, says 2-1. The pink hat stats tracker.
I think we might need to double check that and look at some of the older streams.
Yeah, the PHST, though, the pink hat stats tracker.
Get excited.
I am excited. If I can give something an acronym, I end up getting excited. Zach says, I was holding my thoughts in episode 3 until he watched it. Can't wait for that recording. Well, I was just waiting to kind of catch up on everything. And
I think I still owe you guys a piece of audio as well.
For C4.
Yeah, we have another C4 review.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. So a lot still to come, but there's been a lot going on this week. Got three Ottawa Senator games, a couple of pre-games, 3 post-games. We got articles going up on the site.
It's going to be a nice Olympic break, but I think we're still going to have some content coming out.
Oh, we're going to have. And the good thing is, too, is if we ever wanted to kind of pop on, well, other than, people working and stuff, what's the Team Canada schedule?
I haven't even looked, to be honest. I got to do something for at least the medal game.
Yeah, I have it here. So on Thursday, February 12th, they play Czechia. That's at 10:30 a.m. Then they play the Swiss Friday, February 13th at 3:10 p.m. And then France, they play Sunday, February 15th at 10:30 a.m. So, when they lose to France 4-1 and people are losing their minds, it's...
Yeah. Maybe we'll see a goal from Sens legend Stefan da Costa.
Oh, yeah, Stefan da Costa. Stefan. The pain.
There we go. Oh, I just saw the deserve to win-o-meter on my timeline.
Oh, no. Zach says I got to start writing some articles too, getting a rhythm. Yep.
Yeah, what are the B-Sens up to?
Yeah, what are the B? We're going to start caring more about that team. Look,
86.9, by the way. The Sens deserve to win a meter. 86.9.
So what goes into the deserve-o-meter for people who are listening that don't know?
I don't know, to be honest. It's basically it simulates the game 500 times based on things like advanced analytics, and 89% of or 86.9% of the time, their model thinks that the Senators would win this game.
So 86.9% of the time, if they just had a regular goalie, they would have won.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Or if they didn't do a bad line change.
Right. Well, if Tanner's not getting his stuff in, Zach, it's going to be tough for you to get your stuff in. All I'll say in episode 3 is, yeah. And Ethan with, yeah.
Yeah. It's your guy.
Yeah, he didn't look good. And they basically blamed the Money in the Bank finish on him at the end, and he was getting scolded.
I don't even know what happened at Money in the Bank. I did
Yeah,
not
I
watch
know.
that
Yeah.
show.
No, but says the guy with the Money in the Bank hat on the weekend. Okay.
I went in Toronto. That was me making up for Forbidden Door that I missed with Okada and Danielson and Osprey and Omega. Yeah, you think it made up for that?
No,
Hell no.
no, I do not.
Nope.
And Zach, now you're bringing it. 60% of the time, it works every time. Do you know who said that?
No.
Okay. Zach, correct me if I'm wrong. Was that a Yogi Berra-ism? Feel like it was. Do you know who Yogi Berra is?
Yogi Berra? No.
No. So no.
I know Yogi Bear, you know, the
Yes.
cartoon.
Yeah, Yogi Berra. One of the most
I don't
famous,
know.
one of the most famous baseball players way back.
60% of the time he gets the picnic basket, you know?
Back to this game a little bit. The Sens played well. And you mentioned Michael Amadio. They give him a lot of love on the broadcast, but deservingly so. Like, he's just everywhere. And in good places most of the time.
Such a smart stick, too. You can really see. I see a lot of Mark Stone in him, which makes sense because they played on the same line together for a while. It seems like a really similar player. Just such a smart stick. He's getting into lanes. He's stripping the puck. And then there's just these little spurts in the game where he'll look like the best player on the ice for like 15 seconds. And sometimes he buries it, sometimes he doesn't. But you saw that tonight, the little hands he had.
Yep. So
Yeah,
is that a guy that you
player.
Is that a guy, like, if you lose to Philadelphia and people keep winning, there's a good chance that if you lose to Philadelphia, there's a good chance you're going to be possibly, 8 or 9 points back of a playoff spot going into the break. Is Amadio a guy that you'd be willing to deal? Because he's a weird one for me, because you would think he would be valued by other teams, but he's not going to be valued by other teams like so much so like they're not going to give more than, the 3rd round pick. Like, you're not getting a ton for Michael Amadio. And is he more valuable actually just doing the right things with your young players on your team than getting an extra pick? I don't know.
I think for me, you just answer that. I think it's more valuable to have Matteo on your team than to have a 3rd or a 4th round pick because of the uncertainty. He plays so well with Pinto. That's a very good duo that you've got there. It's not like he's an expiring UFA. He signed through next year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the type of guy that if this team is trying to retool and get back into the playoffs next year, should they not make it this year, he's a guy you want on that roster. And I think he's at a reasonable cap hit. He's been a great UFA signing for Steve Stais. I don't see any reason to move off of him.
Yeah, 29 years old, makes $2.6 million next year. Is it weird that I thought Michael Amadio was older?
Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty quiet guy.
I don't know why I thought he was older, but
I think he's more valuable on this team, and he's got that cup experience as well. Really seems to gel, especially with Shane Pinto. Yeah, I don't see any reason you would move off of him for what their return would be.
It's not
like he's making $4 million like per on.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think somebody would have to blow your socks off, but I don't know that somebody will blow your socks off for Michael Amadio, but
unless like Vegas really wanted him back or something because they maybe know a little bit more what he's worth, then yeah, I don't see any other team that's going to cough it up.
Amadio is not someone I would want to deal personally, but it entirely depends on if it's part of a deal to bring someone else back who's better. And says Ethan Amadio for me is the best signing Stais has made to date. That's probably true.
I mean, yeah, I don't think he has too much competition. It's between him, Perron, Cousins.
Well, the deal,
Eller.
No, the deal though for Dylan Cousins.
Right, but that's not a
right?
free agent signing. Like if Dylan Cousins hit UFA, is he signing with Ottawa? Probably not.
Agreed, but I put things that GMs do in the signings and trades, they're the same to me. Like I don't there's still moves being made by the GM to improve your team, to try to.
I mean, honestly, when his contract's done, maybe there's an argument that he's probably one of the better free agent signings in team history. Sure, Giroux probably tops him out. I think of like Clark MacArthur as well,
Mm-hmm.
but beyond that,
Yeah, they didn't
it's
have
not a
great
ton.
runs with free agents that came in and did really well here.
No.
Anyway, so he's one guy you wonder about because again, if they lose to Philly, we're gonna turn our attention to these type of discussions, right?
Yeah, I think personally, I'd be looking at some of the expiring guys before him. But yeah,
Well, I think you're gonna always look at the expiring guys, but
right.
are the expiring guys the guys that teams want? Those are two different things. So, does anybody want Lars Eller? Probably not. Does anybody want Nick Jensen? Probably not.
I think if anyone wanted Nick Jensen, he'd probably already be gone.
What about Nick Cousins?
I think he's a player that teams would covet for their fourth line. I don't think you're going to get a ton back.
So
I did
again,
see.
is he more valuable here? He would probably, with the way that he's played, I'm assuming if he stayed here or signed another deal because he's a UFA at the end of the year, that he would get a pay raise.
I don't know because he did take a cut. I'm pretty sure on his current deal compared to what he was making before. And I did see he did an interview with one of the publications. I'm not sure which, and he said that he would like to stay into next season. You know, fairly local guy growing up in Belleville. Shout out
Yeah,
to C.
I
Given there.
I gotta tell you, Tanner, I don't put any stock into what guys say in the middle of a year and whether they want to stay here or not. Like they're just trying to drive up their value, and they might want to
That's fair.
stay. They might want to stay, but things change, right? Like with how well he thought the team might have been doing, he might have wanted to stay, and he gets to the end and goes, "Yeah, this team's maybe not as close as I thought, and somebody else is going to want my veteran presence." Things change
And
pretty quick.
hey, I'm sure he'd probably welcome a move back to Florida if they were looking to add.
Yeah, Florida's in a really odd spot. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know how much they're going to add. You look at the standings right now, they're still like they're 9 points out of a playoff spot. 9. And they have a game in hand against Boston, but they would have to pass Philly, Toronto, Ottawa, Washington, Columbus, and Boston. You're now looking at, are the Florida Panthers going to play well enough to make up 9 points and pass 6 teams in 27 games? It's getting late for the Florida Panthers. I'll tell you that.
for sure.
And
I'm
that
not
was
counting them out.
it's a
I
big
won't count them
loss.
out, but yeah.
It was a big loss against Buffalo the other night
Mhm.
because they had Buffalo and Boston, the two teams that are in the wild card spots right now. They have them this week, and to beat them in regulation, and they let a lead slip away and lost that game against Buffalo in regulation the other night.
I'm still wondering, has there ever been a season where the Stanley Cup champion and the President's Trophy winner the next year do not make it into the playoffs?
Both.
Both.
I'll get my stats guy on it. Unfortunately, that's you. So
I'm curious about that because Winnipeg, I mean, they're out of it. They're not
Yeah.
making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Stanley Cup champions haven't made it, but a year with the Stanley Cup champs and the President's Trophy winners. How about the excuse me? How about the week of comebacks for the Tampa Bay Lightning? Down 4 goals against Boston. came back and won the outdoor game. And then against Buffalo tonight, down late, came back, won. They're plus 53 in their goal differential, which you'd think that's impressive, but Colorado's plus 72. Two-one Leafs leading the Oilers going into the third period after beating Calgary the other night. Maybe a little bit of a resurgence here for Toronto. This was kind of a make or break week for the Leafs as well, right? Like if they lost all their games this week, they're probably out of it. But they won in Calgary. They're winning tonight so far.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to start considering moving anybody out as well. Think of some of their expiring guys. You got Nick Waugh, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, players like that. You never know.
But
I didn't find. I think it will be the first time for the Cup and the President's Trophy winner.
Really?
I found the President's Trophy winners who had missed the next year, and I don't think any of these teams won the Stanley Cup as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 4 times in the history of the President's Trophy as a team missed the playoffs the season after winning the award.
Only 4 times. So what are those years?
Well, 2 of them are the New York Rangers.
Nice. That makes me happy.
They won the trophy in the 91-92 season and missed the playoffs in 92-93. But in 93-94, they won the President's Trophy and the Stanley Cup.
Yes, I remember that year.
And then they, of course, did it fairly recently, 2023-24. They won the President's Trophy. Last season, missed the playoffs. Another one, the Buffalo Sabres won the President's Trophy in 06-07 and missed the playoffs in 07-08. One more team.
They won the President's Trophy in 06-07. They lost to, Daniel Alfredsson scoring in overtime for the Ottawa Senators to put them into the Stanley Cup final.
That's right. And then there's one more, also fairly recent. Another Atlantic Division team.
Who?
Boston Bruins. They won the President's Trophy in the 2013-14 season and missed the playoffs in 14-15, despite having a winning record.
Was that the year they lost to the Leafs? Or no, they beat the Leafs in that crazy comeback.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, in 13.
Yeah. But sometimes people call it the 2013 year that ends in 14.
Right.
It's kind of a weird thing that people do. So if the Leafs win tonight, they have 63 points. And they will be 5 back of the Boston Bruins. And they've played more than most people. Most teams. So they would have the same amount of games played. In fact, would have played one more than Boston. But 5 points back. And looking at the Leafs, they must still be on the coast, or is that it for them? Is this their last game before the break?
Might be.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, after tonight, their next game is March 10th against Montreal.
It's got to be before March 10th.
Oh, wait, no, that can't be right.
Season starts back up, I think, on the 25th.
Yeah, sorry, that's Google being weird. The 25th against Tampa.
But if you're 5 points out of a playoff spot, and I guess that's assuming that Boston loses that game in Florida. So, and Buffalo's still got another game as well. They're at home to Pittsburgh. That's a big game on Thursday, too.
I'm actually looking at the Leafs schedule right now. So they're going to have a big week when they come back from the break. So their first game is the 25th in Tampa. That is a back-to-back because they're in Florida the next night.
Yeah.
And then on the 28th, so it's a 3-4, they play the Ottawa Senators.
Okay.
Then after that, they've also got Philly. And then Tampa again that same week. And then Montreal after that. So they're going to be going through the ringer of teams that they would be up against for the playoff spot.
Do you think
right before the deadline?
Do you think there's a point total that's too far back going into this break?
Going into this one?
Because the Leafs, if they win tonight, will be 5 points back, but that doesn't mean that 5 points will hold before Thursday. With Buffalo,
I think 5 is okay.
Yeah, it could be 6, it could be 7, depending on what the Sabres and the Bruins.
Rangers are obviously out of it. I think the Devils are as well.
I agree. The Devils look like they've kind of quit.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if there's a team I'm ready to 100% write off.
Interesting, too, that with Buffalo's loss tonight, they actually vaulted into third in the Atlantic. Same amount of points as the Montreal Canadiens, but because of win percentage, Montreal is in that first wild card spot now with 70 points. But man, we talked about the Metro, but even Detroit, Buffalo, Montreal, and Boston, they're only separated by 4 points.
It might be like, if I had to give you a number, maybe like 6 to 8 points, probably somewhere in that range.
6 to 8?
Yeah, like if you're 6 to 8 back going into this break, I'd say you're probably out of it.
Okay, so Ottawa's 7 right now.
Yeah, they need to get 2 more tomorrow night. Or sorry, on Thursday.
Yeah, the problem is even if they get those 2,
Boston gets another 2, maybe.
Boston can win again.
So maybe I should say like 8 to 10, somewhere in that range, but it's getting close.
I agree. And that's why you hate to harp on it, but that's why when they played so well tonight and they didn't get anything out of it, they just can't afford it right now.
No.
There's no moral victories right now. You can have moral victories when you're Carolina and you have 76 points and you play really well and you lose a game. You just can't afford moral victories right now. You've put yourself in this spot. It's too bad because they played really well. I still think they're going to be feeling pretty good about their game.
I agree.
But the problem is now is that, like I said, Phillies had much more of a rest being at home, and they haven't gone anywhere like in a week. Tonight, they obviously played well and won the hockey game. They hadn't played since Saturday afternoon, and now they play again. They're going to be pumped up for that game. So if Ottawa doesn't get any points from that game, it's too bad because they'll have played really well over this stretch. But 2 losses going in might just deflate everybody because you possibly could be 8 or 9 points back going into the break. And it's just, with like 26 games left at that point, are you really making up 9 points and climbing over 6 teams? Daniel Alfredson? Probably not.
It would still take a pretty monumental run for them to make the playoffs, no matter what happens, whether they win or not.
And that's the problem, is that they've been on a run already. Like, they've played really well. This might be the best stretch of the year. Just the way that
it is.
The way that they've played.
I think it is, unless you maybe consider when Tkachuk went down, when the team kind of banded together.
Yeah, and I would hear that argument for sure.
But the goaltending still wasn't great then. Like, the goaltending is much better now than it was then.
Do we have an update on the apocalyptic save percentage for the Ottawa Senators this year? Because what do you have tonight? 769?
I think it was better than that. I think it was 777 if I wasn't wrong.
Yes, because 777 sounds so much better.
778.
Oh, 778. He stopped almost 78% of the shots, which means just a little bit more than 22% of all the shots went in tonight. Great.
I'm trying to find team save percentage.
22% of the shots that a team has goes in. You can't beat good teams that way.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so Ottawa still is in 32nd with team save percentage.
Okay.
With an 867. So, bit of improvement.
No, Tanner, come on. 867?
It's terrible, but it's better than they were a couple
but
weeks
if
ago.
I say 867, and those listening, whoever's listening right now, when I say 867, what are the 4 numbers that follow? That's the question. That's the trivia question, and you should be able to get it. I know Tanner won't get it. When I say 867, what are the next 4 numbers in the sequence? Okay, go ahead. That's that.
He lost me.
I know, but maybe someone will answer it on the chat. If not, I will answer it in a bit. So 867 is not very good.
No, it's the worst in the NHL. You have a guess who the 31st ranked team is?
It wasn't it Seattle before?
No, you're thinking of the PK.
Oh, the PK. So it was St. Louis.
It's not St. Louis anymore.
St. Louis
has risen up to 30th with an 874.
Man, that is rising for St. Louis, getting up to 30th. So somebody's fallen into that 31st stage. You're going to tell me it's the Devils?
No.
Okay, good. Winnipeg.
No.
Who?
This team might surprise you. It's the Florida Panthers.
What?
The Florida Panthers are rocking a team 873 right now.
Wow.
I didn't realize they were that bad this year.
That's how you go from winning a Stanley Cup to not being in the playoff hunt. That's very interesting.
But they'd like to have Spencer Knight right about now.
Mm-hmm.
Although Seth Jones did win them a Stanley Cup, so they probably still make that trade. But no, the St. Louis Blues are 0.001 better, 0.001 better than them with an 874.
St. Louis does blow, Tanner. You can say it.
They do blow. Yeah, the St. Louis blows. Let's see. Oh wow.
Okay,
there are only 6 teams with an above 900 in the NHL right now as a team save percentage.
There's only 6 teams in the National Hockey League
with an above 900.
Well, that's how the game's changing, I guess. But
yeah, so 6 Los Angeles Kings, 5 Seattle Kraken, 4 the New York Islanders, 3 the Tampa Bay Lightning, 2 the Minnesota Wild, and 1, to nobody's surprise, is the Colorado Avalanche.
They don't think they give up a lot of high danger chances. No. Okay, if there's really still 3 people listening, what are the next 4 numbers after I say 867? There's 4 numbers after that. 867. I expect a guess. Well, this one, okay, no idea. I'm not surprised. But my man, Z Given, comes up with 5309. That is correct. Tanner's like, what are you talking about? Zach, what are we talking about? We're talking about a great song from the 80s from Tommy Two-Tone. You've heard it, Tanner. I promise.
Okay. I'm terrible with song names, so yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
This one is called 8675309. Okay. 8675309. Sing it, Zach.
That's all right. I'm sure my dad listened to it.
See, that's mean. But true, but mean. I'm sure he liked it.
Yeah, I think you guys would get along.
Great. Oh my God, my mom had this on the car the other day too, says Ethan.
There you go.
Yeah, but great. Your mom was listening to it, but you weren't. You didn't remember. Zach says it's best for all involved that I don't sing, but I just sang. Wasn't good. 8675309. Tommy Two Tone.
It's all right, Zach. We'll let you stick to polar plunges and wrestling matches.
Oh, and refereeing car.
Oh boy,
sitting.
we do not need to bring that up again. Oh my God, that post game was a fever dream.
Right? But sometimes that's what they turn into. And guess what, Tanner? If the Sens are out, a lot of them will turn into that. Ethan says she even remarked at the song and I chuckled. Zach says, well, not going to work for me, brother. All right. No. I still have the visions of like Zach with the whistle and the referee shirt pointing at people's asses on the car. Like, your ass came off of the car. No, it didn't. Yes, it did. Fantastic. I'm telling you, this is what the post-game shows turn into a lot.
Yeah.
Fever dreams. You get off on tangents and... Well, for the Ottawa Senators, I would call it an opportunity missed tonight with how well they played and probably deserved a better fate, but unfortunately, they do not have any good goaltending. I think they should have started Linus Ullmark. So do you. They didn't. They paid for it, and then they made a bad change with 5 minutes to go, and it cost them the hockey game 4-3 over the Carolina Hurricanes, and a massive game coming up in Philadelphia on Thursday night. Tanner, you and I will be back for pregame, and also this is overtime. We invite people to go to thisisosn.com. This is the latest Shane the Pain article on Chris Stevenson and how well Shane Pinto is playing defensively this year. Should have another kind of Super Bowl midweek look at what's ahead to the Super Bowl coming up tomorrow. And lots to get to. We got a big lunch with Chris Stevenson as well tomorrow to go over some things for OSN. So lots going on.
Love to see it. Big roster freeze tomorrow as well. Interested to see if we get any movement.
What time is the freeze?
I believe it's at 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Usually 3 p.m. Eastern time is those.
Yeah. Seems like things have been pretty quiet. I do wonder about Panarin, though. That seems to be the big one that everyone's waiting to drop.
Zach got Fujiwara mentioned on the post show. Proud of himself for that one. Yeah, I guess so. I suppose. All right, Tanner, we'll talk to you on Thursday before the game. Expecting nothing but their best roster, Linus Ullmark in goal, and trying to get 2 points in Philadelphia against the Flyers. And you mentioned it tomorrow night, right? Florida and Boston.
Yeah, I think that's the big one to watch for all the Sens fans to circle on their calendars. Florida and Boston. I mean, Montreal's playing, Detroit's playing, but that's the big one for sure if you're scoreboard watching.
Edmonton has tied the game at 2 against Toronto in the third period.
They have to go turn that one on.
I believe the Leafs have a 5-on-3 currently. But yeah, it's always fun to go kind of scoreboard watch and go turn on games that matter in the third period.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment with the Oilers either. Like they can come back against anybody. A comeback the other night, they had down 3-0 going into the third.
Did you read McDavid's piece in the Players Tribune?
I did.
That was a great read.
He made me believe.
Yeah.
He made me believe he wants to stick around and get it done. Speaking of which, I mentioned the Leafs have a 5-on-3. Johnny T has just scored for the Maple Leafs to go up 3-2. So they need that win as much as they can get it. So We'll let you go watch that. Thank you very much, Tanner. Great work today. We'll talk to you on Thursday. Ethan says, have a great night, gents. See you back here for Philly. We will be back pregame, and this is overtime as well. Tonight, the Ottawa Senators lose 4-3 in regulation to the Carolina Hurricanes, but they played very, very well. Probably deserved a little bit more than they got. We'll be back on Thursday. Lever Sage, Tanner Ryle. This is Overtime on OSN.